I'm just going out for a bit. Well, you all settled in? Right, we can begin. This channel is just going out for a bit. And this is where we go around strange little things, bit of camping, bit of historical sort of stuff, such like. And today we are looking at the Battle of Mount Badon, Mons Badonus, in the old Latin, as they would say. Now, essentially, break it down. We'll go into further detail later on. Essentially, it's when you've got the Saxons coming across, represented by some German beer here, taking on those Romano Brits who've been Romanized after 400 plus years of occupation. The Saxons came across, wanted to deal with the Romano Brits, and this here, in my estimation, my research, this is where the Saxons met their match with a Roman administrator who morphed into becoming, as we all know it, King Arthur. So that's that. So, you know, hope you enjoy me. Stay with me here. We're going to go a lot of places and do a lot of stuff, so I need you to just stay with me. Stay with me and watch it all the way through. Believe you me, it's quite a good one. Okay, for now, let's go. So there's this cleric, he's a monk really, called Gildas, who wrote in his book De Exilio Britannia. Now, Gildas, who studied in sciences, dated this as 44 years apart after the date of his birth. So we're looking at 493 AD. Later, the Venerable Bede, why we call him Venerable, I haven't got a clue, but a century later confirmed the Battle of Badon was won by the Romano Brits under Aurelius Ambrosius. So, who's Aurelius Ambrosius? He's a Romano Brit, a Christian, an administrator. Now the Saxons, probably under the Bretvelder or Ayla, who's from the South Saxons. Why was he there? Originally, the British chieftain Vortigern invited Saxon mercenaries upon leaving the Roman rule in approximately 410 AD. In essence, with no legion protection, the British were used to pay taxes. Therefore, it's a case of defund, not so much the police, but the legionary. There you go, our first Brexit. Soon the word spread. Not only were the Saxons forcibly settling, but the Jutes and the Angles were here in numbers too, carving their own kingdoms, influenced culture and taxation. The Anglo-Saxons were skilled mercenaries and I've said had effectively run Europe under Roman pay for 200 years as auxiliaries. These Anglo-Saxons worshipped Woden. The Anglo-Saxons here are the real deal, proto-Vikings before they had to wait their turn 300 years later. These Saxons were way different from the soppy Christianised version we see to be treated via films and television now. Anyway, they wanted booty, land and slaves, and the disorganised Romano Brits hadn't so far put up much resistance. But Aurelius Ambrosius did fight back at the Battle of Mount Badon, or Mons Badonicus. King Arthur, his term was associated with the Battle of Mount Badon by some fellow called Nennius in the 9th century. He combined all the separate revolts against Saxon rule to be under one man, Arthur. Later, Geoffrey of Monmouth shaped Arthur and all his legends via his book The History of the Kings of Britain. Geoffrey, also known to his local mates as Griffith ap Arthur, Welsh, or Galfridus Arturus, Latin. His book and his legend was taken as gospel well into the 16th century and beyond, but past then it was considered a fiction, a case of you're making it up as you're going along. Now, why Ringsby Camp? Andrew Breeze argued that etymologically Brittonic place names rather than Saxon Germanic place names would have been used by Gildas, so Gildas may have wrote Badonicae Montis rather than Bradonicae Montis. The forest of Badon may have extended to almost a third of the county of Wiltshire. The remaining forest is very, very thick and very marshy, hence the reason why I've chosen to camp here tonight. The soil being Oxford stiff clay and is rubbish to farm on arably. Ringsbury Camp, previously noted on older maps as Kingsbury Camp, is a pedestrian 12 miles to Cirencester. Ringsbury is a Vivalate Iron Age hill fort. It's a double bank structure encasing now 4 acres, so it's not so large. The inner bank's about 5 metres high in places with a 3-metre ditch. It's interesting to note here that the bank's made from transported limestone, which is not local to the area. Anyway, Saxon incursion westward halted now for 50 years or so, a generation. So no graves, no settlements with Germanic names. But Cirencester fell to the Saxons in 577. Breeze also pointed out that west of the Wansdyke, Ciren and Gloucester were the only substantial towns, and in itself the Wansdyke may have been the physical barrier between the Romano Brits and the Saxon lands and influence. So, Gildas would have used Brittonic names for Romano Brit victory, and so Ringsbury will maybe the site of Mount Badon. Now, historians, let's discuss where Mount Badon may be. As you can see, the Saxons would have come here and would have pushed it along using the roads. So, some say it's Badbury Camp down in Dorset, a long way down there, no gain. Some say it's at Cadbury Camp here, connections with King Arthur, but not really. Some say it was even Bridgend, Mount Badon in the Welsh language, lovely language it is, but don't think so. So here are the main contenders. Bath, Aquasulis. What's the point of being there? It's just a spa town. It's nothing much going on. It's just people taking the waters, you know. But these is the administrative zones. Cirencester was the second city of Britannia, and Gloucester was a colonium. Is it colonia? Colonia, that's the word, which was a even bigger administrative area. Plus, it had a legionary defences there. Anyway, so what you've got the village of Badon here. You've got Lidington Castle there, and the one here, Purton, very close to Corinium, very close to Glenviam as well. So that's the Fosse Way, and that's Ermine Street, getting up there. I think they would have gone there. Now, proof, there is no other, for a generation, Saxon settlement along there. That's the proof. That's the proof. You can mess around with the names and the pronunciations, but Purton, past Purton, nothing. So I think we need to go and have a look at Ringsbury Camp. It's not very big, but you make do and mend what you can. Okay, so let's go. Now, Badbury is the village adjacent to Lidington Castle. It's a one pub village, nothing special going on, but I suppose the name Badbury Badon could make a you could make a connection. Nonetheless, very nice. Lovely. Behind me is Lidington Castle. Just over here, where I am, is the village of Badbury. So therefore, you could make the connection between the Battle of Badon could do. Good point in their favour is the road running from, say, Winchester Marlborough to Cirencester is immediately behind us. That's the old Roman road, and the modern day M4 goes east-west that direction. All roads lead to Cirencester. If you're a young aggressive Saxon, you might want to take the shortest route possible to go and deal with the Romano Brits. But anyway, that's the castle from down here. On the right hand side are the remains. Let's have a quick look. Looking at Liddington Castle from this side, yeah, the slopes are quite good. They're quite high. Natural plateau reaches just about there. All very nice, but in my estimation, it's facing the wrong way. If I was the Saxons, that's from the west over there, and that's from the east over there. That's just a plateau. That's just a gently rolling Berkshire Downs. They could walk straight up, straight into the camp, without needing to go up any pesky barricaded hills. Cirencester, 22 miles that direction. Not quite the horizon, but thereabouts. Long way to go. If you lose a battle and that's your homeland, and you put all your defences going down the slope there, only to realise those rolling slopes are where those pesky Saxons are going to come from. Nah. The village of Badon, over there on the horizon, you might be able to make out some houses. That gentle hill over there is the village of Badon. Again, a one pub, one post office town. It's hardly a mount, is it? And to be fair, the view from the other side looks far more dramatic than coming this way. And again, those old Saxons would have come from that direction. Not this direction, not that direction. So that slope over there. Nice view, but no mountain. Badon, the other side. Okay, tonight in Sleeping with King Arthur, Ambrosius Aurelius, Aurelius Ambrosius, whatever we call it, I've come really light tonight, really light. I have the oldest rucksack in humanity to use. So we'll just go through this quickly. Seating, books, particularly from Night Sky. It's going to be a lovely crisp night tonight. Tactical slippers, because we're not savages, you know. Just an old coat. Water bottle. Food. Stove and sort of stuff. Bivy bag in case it got rainy or cold. Not going to need that. My Aldi hammock. Nice and big, nice and double. Never any trouble. And that, bar the ruby, is that. So I'm gonna gently get myself together, because there still could be dog walkers and stuff walking around, and farmers, because the house is only just over there. So it's going to be a lovely spot, very quiet. Once the farming activity goes down, because they are rapidly getting the harvest in, it'll be good. Right, join me in a bit. I'll have my hammock up and I'll have my little surprise stove. While the light fades quite quickly now and the dog walkers have gone by, we had in, so I just had to wait for a while. Hammock set up, food station set up, and for my sins I have got a icky bitty Trangia mess tin. Along to go with my Trangia stove. Right, okay, so what I'll do, that's lit, that's going. Let's look at this. Trangia makes it. Well, I've made it is a stove carrier. That's from your famous little Chinese internet shop. Is a little stove. So small, it'll fit in here. So I could put some noodles in there, get them heated up, and at the same time get myself a nice cup of tea or something, or whatever. Anyway, you notice I put a little hole in there to enable me to get access to creating a vacuum. So while I do this, get things set up, we'll have a closer look in a minute, and all things being good, we should be cooking. There we go. All good. My little sweet and charming mug. So a nice cup of coffee, and then wait for the stars to come out. Right. On coffee. Well, mac and cheese coming up. And all is well in the Iron Age hill fort, where possibly echoes of King Arthur stroke Aurelius Ambrosius. So in the hammock, under the ruby, bit of a pillow. I'm all YouTubed out at the minute. I'm just going to enjoy the stars, enjoy the moon come up. And enjoy the silence. Right, folks, wish you a good night. Dawn approaches, and greeted by Venus, the morning star. Hello world. Morning. Just gonna have a sit down over here. Okay. First cup of joe of the day. And I tried to record this earlier on, a bit like this, but it's very, very dark, so it may not come out. So this is a standby. Good night in the Aldi hammock, as always. Can't go wrong with this. A wooby, fleece jacket, warm enough. A little bit chilly. Well, I'll say that. There's a little bit of wind rustling through the leaves above me last night. But above all, quiet. No badgers, no foxes. Nothing. Lovely and peaceful. Obviously awoken too early and watching the rise of Venus on the horizon, and just generally mooching around in the hammock, sat like this really for a large extent, just staring at the upcoming dawn, which I'm promised is sunrise is 6:30. So not visited by any Saxon or Romano Brit ghost in the night. Would have been good for a conversation. You probably couldn't understand me in my modern dialect, but hey, such is life, c'est la vie. It's all been off the cuffs here anyway. Rather good. No dog walkers as yet. Got my homemade porridge on the go in a minute. All good. That little one pot kettle thing, it literally is. That's all you're going to get. One mug of water. Not a lot. No vast improvement on time to cook things up either, so it's just a space saver. And I do really appreciate you watching this and subscribing and keeping in touch. All very nice. All very nice indeed. Okay. So folks, that's it. The Battle of Mount Badon possibly was here. A lot of the evidence points this way, you know. It's not the biggest site in the world, but it's the most close to what matters most. And if you were a Roman fighting for your home, your family, your wives, your kids, I want to be close as possible in case the balloon went up. So me, I'm just a humble YouTube person. What do I know about such like? I've done my research. I've done my best for you. And I thought it was constructive. I thought it was arguments were well put and founded upon a lot of things. You know, from my point of view especially, and you got other things as well. Anyway, so slept here the night. Tick, Iron Age Hill Fort. Lovely location. Lovely location. Up with the sun. Slept with the moon. Perhaps I slept alongside King Arthur, Aurelius, Ambrosius. Who knows? Who knows? Well, on that inspiration, I bid you farewell, and all I can say, folks, is just keep on going out there, because you're worth it.